everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So I'm just doing a quick intro for this video. I was videoing and something happened to my video as I was recording. It stopped, so I'm not sure if I can rescue that part of the video, so I thought I would do a quick intro before I continue. I'm working on my design team project for Steph at JunkWithSteph. It is a mass making project that I've been working on for the months of November, December, and I'm really enjoying this process. So this video has been inspired by a video that I watched from Gayle Agostinelli, and she was inspired by a journal that was gifted to her. She referred to it as her Montana journal, I believe, and it was from Cindy. So I will link the video that I watched where she was playing with an idea that Cindy had used in the journal that she gifted to Gayle. And so what I'm doing today has been inspired by that. So I just wanted to show you quickly that I'm working on this journaling card. I'm just using a glue book page, which is a Reader's Digest book page folded in half. And I'm working on a double-sided journaling card. I created a double-sided journaling card for the farm journal that I completed recently, and I really love that concept. And then I was watching Gayle's video just recently. I believe it's a Scrappy Saturday video, and she was playing with an idea there. And so I've kind of taken inspiration from both my farm journal and what Gayle shared in her videos. So this double-sided journaling card, I just have a piece of tea stain paper here with some decorative paper around the outside, and I was working on the back. So this paper here is from a lunch paper bag, and I've just used the decorative paper here. So continuing with this, what do I want to put down here? That's a really fun pop of colour. I think I'll use this on the top and the bottom. Okay. And it's non-directional, so it doesn't matter if I flip it over. So I hope you're all fabulous. I have no idea if the first part of my video works, so I could be repeating myself, and if I am, I'm really sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. I have just been saying technology is doing strange things to me lately. I was doing a spot of Christmas shopping. Yes, I've left it quite late. A spot of Christmas shopping online last night, and I had been browsing at this particular shop for other items, and I had a cart full of things, and then I needed to organise a gift for somebody and send it to them, and I decided to do it via the delivery method from this shop. In other words, I purchase it and then I have it delivered to their home. And so I took out of my cart what I had previously been looking at, and that way I was able to purchase what I wanted to purchase to have delivered to this other address. And while I was doing that, the internet was really slow. I was having trouble loading pages. At one stage it kind of stopped working. Then I ran out of battery and I had to recharge my device. So I was having all sorts of drama, and then I went ahead and I made my purchase, and it all went through beautifully, and I was really happy and feeling very achieved because, you know, when you do Christmas shopping, it is an achievement. And I went back into that website for something else a little bit later, and all of a sudden everything that I had had in my cart prior to making that purchase was back in my cart. And I was just like, how did that happen? I have no idea how it came to be back in my cart all of a sudden. I was telling somebody about it recently, and I was just like, 1 minute it was there, and the next minute it was gone. It was the strangest thing. And that's only one of the things that's happened in the last couple of days, where I've just gone, I feel like technology is playing with me. But anyway, at least I got to make my purchase, so that made me really happy. I am loving this journal card. Love, 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 love. Okay, so journaling space in the center on the front and on the back. I think that's gorgeous. So like I said, I'm only going to make, oh, actually, I may not have said, because I think that was in the first part of the video. I'm only making one of each idea. I've watched this video of Gayle's, and I've had a couple of different ideas of ways I can use the similar concept but change it up a little bit. So I'll be making more of those off camera. I was actually considering sewing around it, but I think I like it just as it is. I really don't think it needs the stitching. So I'll have a think about that. Okay, so I'm using my glue book pages for this project as my glue book pages before I actually cover them. So this one here, this is a very lightly decorated. Now I had mentioned in the beginning of the video, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, a lot of the concepts that I'm using today involve using scrap paper, particularly strips of scrap paper. And so I don't have a lot of scraps left. I won't go ahead and show you again because I just don't know if the first part of this video will be salvageable, but if I don't have the strips that I want to use for this process, I plan on creating some because I really want to have a play with this idea. So I have pattern paper from JunkWithSteph, which I've been using throughout the mass making ephemera project, design team project, and I also have some tea stain paper and just packaging paper and things in strips in that bag as well. And I do have a larger bag of that same sort of scrap, and I'm just looking at this piece, speaking of scraps, and I am going to do this. So I'm going to tear it on the diagonal, and I'm using this red line as a guide as to how wide I'm tearing, and also to make sure that it's relatively straight. Again, like I said, if I need to make my own scraps, I will make my own scraps. But obviously, if you have scraps that are strips, you don't need to go through this process. I'm so excited to do this. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now, and I've been itching to come in and have a play. Oops, and I tore that, which isn't great. Okay, we're just going to go with it. I'm not sure I'll need all of these, but oops. Okay, so they are my scraps there. So what I was thinking was, I really want to put these down first. I've got this little piece of glue that's stuck to my finger, and I keep thinking I've gotten rid of it, and it keeps popping back. Okay, so just lining that up so it's relatively square. So I'm taking every second one. Excuse me. So I need to take every second piece. And just kind of making sure it covers the card. I'm sorry, I have a really croaky voice today for some reason. Oops, well, that didn't work very well. Okay, that's better. So I hope you're all fabulous. I am. I'm so excited to be playing. I hope you're all getting organised for Christmas. It's coming around so quickly. Okay, so this piece is not quite wide enough. But that's okay. I might see if I can use the little piece down here and finish that off, I think. And we'll hope that that works. I perhaps should have used a bigger piece of paper. But you can learn from my mistakes, so that's all good. Just trying to roughly keep the same amount of space between. I think I'm going to pop that there and hope that that translates okay. Okay, so does that mean these are going to be, no, these will be okay. So it was just that one piece in the center that wasn't big enough. Okay, so you all know I like games, and I have a little story to share. I want to know if any of you can relate. So one of the games I love to play is backgammon. My mum and I have been playing for many, many years. And we had a little catch up just recently. I'm wondering if I can use this. Oops, I'm sticky. This piece instead. I might use that. We had a play just recently and I was not in a good position. For any of you who know how to play backgammon, she had taken me and I had people up on the bar that I had to get down. And I finally got down and she had men free. And I found myself throwing the dice and I could take her, but only if I went backwards. And I said to Mum, I started laughing actually, and I said to Mum, oh, I said, if only I could go backwards and take you. I said, that would be ideal. And then my little mind went, how cool would that be? I think I'm going to cut this with the scissors. How cool would that be to play that you could actually go backwards? And I started laughing because I was thinking this in my head. I wasn't actually sharing at the time. And Mum asked what I was giggling at, and I told her, and I said to her, I said, well, actually, I think Mum said to me, well, do you want to have a go? Maybe the next game. And I was like, okay, let's. So we had a little talk about the rules, or the rules for our new version, and we had a game and laughed the whole time we were playing. And apparently, according to Mum, the rules were a little bit clearer for me than they were for her. So I won that round. Sorry, Mum, had to say it. And then Mum was like, well, we need to try again because I need to see if I can beat you. Anyway, I don't think we played another game with the normal rules after that. We played our version of, I think I'm going to pop this in the corner just to cover up that spot that isn't wide enough. Most of it will be covered but the corners, so, and I'm just going to, I think, cut the excess off after I'm done gluing it down. Yes, we didn't play another game with the normal rules after that. We played our own version and laugh. Like, you know when you've been playing a game for so long, or maybe you don't, maybe you've never, I'm interested to know if you've ever changed the rules to a game and played your own rules. We've done it a few times now. It's lots of fun, and it gave us a whole new excitement and appreciation for the game. Not that we've never enjoyed playing, because we always do, but I had said to Mum when we were playing, we were laughing so much, I was like, I'm gonna have to share this with my YouTube friends. Like, just, it's still making me laugh thinking about it. We had so much fun. Yes, I don't know if you've ever changed the rules and played your own rules with games. We've done it with different things in the past, and oh my gosh, just, it's such a laugh because you get so used to playing a game a certain way, and then all of a sudden the rules are changed and you don't know if you're Arthur or Martha. So I was having a great time because I was taking Mum all the time. And she was like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't know that. And then the role started to reverse and she was taking me. And I was like, oh, gosh, I didn't think about that. Such a good time. Anyway, I really want to play again. So keen to play again. With our rules, of course. It gave it a whole new level of interesting and fun. Okay, so I haven't really explained what I'm doing here. So my idea was to put down the layers of the plainer paper or journaling paper first, and then I'm going over the top of it with strips of more decorative paper. And so my idea is that when you're using the journaling cards, you can write on the decorative paper, on the plain paper only. So I don't want... I'm trying to find bits that aren't too wide, because I still want to be able to write on the strips. And I did think about layering them differently, so I could layer them alternately. My words didn't come out right. I could layer them alternately. I could layer them alternatively better, so that the top overlaps the one before it and work down the card. But for this one, I wanted the writing place or the journaling place to be at the back, because I felt like once it was written on, that would then make that stand out and would bring it forward more. I hope I'm making sense out of that. I have said before I think too much, so I may have thought about the process before I've gone ahead and done it more than once. So just taking my idea and running with it. And so far, I'm loving it. And I actually thought this would be really, really fun for a Christmas journal, because you could play with your reds and greens and maybe even your golds and silvers and things like that. You could do, like, you could alternate colours. The other thing I was thinking was, if you don't have scraps, but you would like to try this and you're using a complete sheet of paper, you can tear the sheet of paper and then put them down in the same order so that the picture or image is separated. And I thought that was really, really fun too. It's a little bit wide for my liking. That one's a bit better. Oops, I need to bring that down. So just checking that my corner is actually on the edge. So yes, you need to tell me in the comments below if you've ever changed the rules to a game. And if you have, I'm intrigued to know what you did, because I love playing games. All sorts of games. Board games, card games, you name it. I love it. So I would always like to change the rules to Monopoly, because I'm really bad at Monopoly. My hubby always beats me. And if anybody has an idea of how I can change the rules up so that I actually come out the winner, that would be great. I keep telling him he cheats, because honestly, if we ever play Monopoly, I know I'm not going to win. Before we even start, I know that that is not going to be my game. And I'm pretty sure he knows too, because he gets the biggest grin on his face. Too fun. And holidays have always been a really fun time for us to play games in our family. Okay. I'm loving this one already. I do need to trim that because I was a little off kilter. You could possibly write on that piece too, because it's not overly decorated, but oops. And again, this would have a completely different look if you were using a paper that was the same all the way over. I'm thinking I might just glue this down and cut, because I don't think it's going to tear very well, rather than destroying it. I'm really croaky, oh my gosh. I think my allergies are playing up. So I'm trying to fit it all on the glue book paper. Oops. Little pieces stuck to my fingers everywhere. Okay. Fiddly. Just like, do I want that or do I want something busier? I like that there. I like that pop of green against the yellow. Totally misjudged where that should be then, did you notice? Okay, I'm turning it the wrong way. Nope, kind of locked itself in. So you may be seeing that I'm not quite even in my separations, but I don't mind. If you were tearing the papers yourself and they were exactly the same size, then that would be great. But because I'm using scraps, they're all different sizes, so I'm going to have to glue another one of these just to cover that corner. Again, not very much of this piece will be showing, the same as the one at the top, but that's fine. And I really like that across there. Just sort of playing with the gap, making sure it's big enough to actually write in before I lock it in. Love it. I'm going to burnish the whole card now. Whoops, and I'm stuck. Okay, love it. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to do the same thing on the opposite side. I just need to do this so I can see how it finishes up. So fun. Okay, what do I want to do on this side? So many possibilities, so many ideas. Just looking, I have some, oh, ladies' feet. I forgot that they were in there. I'm looking for squarish or straight lined rather scraps in the decorative paper. I've just pulled out that lady's list. It's the perfect size. It's just the wrong kind of print that's remaining on there. Actually, slightly bigger scraps. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this about there. And my tea stain paper, I'm just just kind of want to do blocks, I suppose you could say, so different sized blocks. Okay, I'm not sure this is working for me, so I need to regroup. I'm going to take this one. And I think I'd like to tear it right across that line. I want that side. Just want to point out, I feel like this would be a much quicker process if the scraps were already scraps rather than tearing as I go. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a fun and fast project. you may want to wait until you've got scraps at the ready. Just like, what do I want to do now? Still like the idea of the tea stain paper at the back rather than bringing it forward, which is kind of what I'm trying to work with. Okay. I'm probably making this more complicated than it needs to be, but you know, when you have an idea, you just have to roll with it. Can you sense my concentration? I can. Pop under there. I just need to see how you're looking. Like if you were a suit, you would be having a fitting. This would be considered a fitting. Just seeing how you all fit together. Okay. I'm actually wondering if I just want 2 strips down there rather than so many separate pieces. So I think I can probably get my ruler has stuck to my glue page. Terrible. Oops. Okay, I like that there. Oops, if I can get it to stay still, my paper clip won't go the opposite direction. And then this side, I'm kind of thinking maybe, you know, I like to work in odd numbers, so that's still not an odd number. So I need a piece of something. I'm thinking a little pop of colour. What do you think? Oops. Okay. So I need to ink across the bottom. And my 2 decorative papers. I feel like I have, I don't know where I just inked the top. I feel like I have a whole lot of mess for a whole little something. across the top of this one. Okay, lid on. So that goes across the bottom. So my 2 tea stain papers need to go down first. Thinking that might be risky business, trying to use that again. Now I will share with you, my instant reaction was to make both sides exactly the same, but I'm kind of loving the fact that I can have them different in how they're put together. I think that's probably a little bit more interesting, but I think either would be gorgeous. Gluing is such a sticky job to do. I'm just like, fingers are so tacky. Okay. Kind of had to peel my fingers off that journaling card just now. Oops. So just trying to get my placement for this one. Yep. And I'm going to do this one next. I might do that up here. This little piece is light enough that it could be written on as well. So just there's nowhere to go with this little piece of paper where it's not going to end up very sticky. Oops. And a lucky last piece of the puzzle. It's kind of what it's like, really, isn't it? A jigsaw puzzle. Except I'm making it up as I go. I was going to say I'm not following a pattern or a picture, but I kind of am, I suppose. I kind of have these ideas or images in my head of ways I want to try putting these together. So I guess that's kind of like working with a picture to go off, except it's not exact. Where's my I've got an awful mess here, guys. Oh, that's fun. Just turning that over and seeing the 2 different sides is really, really fun. Okay. So just inking around. So that is one side, and you can write on those plain pieces of paper, and then the other side. Love that. Okay. So what can we try next? Okay, I need to use one of these tacky. So I'm looking at these strips, and I think it's time to have a play with those. one runs horizontally. Oh, there's another one there. I don't know how many I'll need, but... And my ruler, come out, wherever you are. I'm going to move these paper clips to the side in case I need them again. That's not big enough, so I need to use one this size. And I'm, oops, all kinds of wonky because I'm stuck on this glue book page. So just making myself some smaller strips again. I really love being inspired. It's just so fun. So fun to try new and different things. It just, I don't know. I love it. Okay. This would be a whole lot more difficult for me if I didn't have a ruler that I could actually see through. So if you don't have one in your crafting supplies, I often use the marks on this ruler as a guide when I'm tearing things to know where to tear. Also to know if I'm straight. It's so handy. And I'm pretty sure I picked up this ruler from a local charity store. So I paid like, I don't even think it was 50 cents that I paid for it. And hubby altered one edge, so I have a tear edge on one edge. And it has become my go-to in my crafting, and I love that. That's a bit darker. I think I'd like to stick to a similar colour. I don't really know how many I'll need, so I don't think that'll be quite long enough. I think that should work. Thinking 5 will be plenty. Potentially I'll only need 4. Okay. So I'm just going to work out if I have enough. And I'm going to run, whoops, I need my paper clips. I just don't have enough hands. Actually, I think I'll just tear them all to the size I need. Let me see if I can get some organisation over here. I've got little bits everywhere. I'm not sure how far you can see, but I've got little pieces of paper spread literally all over my desk. I have no idea how long I've been videoing for. Sorry guys, just need to sort my things. Kind of clouds my mind when I get too much clutter. Can't think straight. It stops my creativity, which is ironic because the rest of my room is chaos right now. Oh no, I've got a little bit of time. Okay, so I'm going to sit those there. It's an organised chaos, but still it's chaos. If anybody else walked in here, they would go, oh my goodness, what have you done? For me, everything has a place, and everything at the moment is in the place it has, so I know where to find things. That one's not long enough. How did I do that? I That's a little bit sad. But you will work. I don't remember which was the right one now. I think that was the one that was too small. I'm not going to try and tear that. It's far too small, or far too small a piece that I need to tear off. I think I like it this way. I must have only had 4 pieces out by the look of that. So I'll see if that's enough, which means I may need to do tea stain first. Just looked at my finger, it's brown. I must have got ink all over it. Can I do it? Woohoo! Okay, so I don't need to ink the brown pieces because again I'm going to put those on the bottom. I do need to ink the patterned pieces. I was just thinking this could be a really fun thing to do when you're watching TV of a night time, because really you need your papers, a ruler, your ink if you choose to ink, and your glue stick. And you don't really have to think too much. I know sometimes I overthink, but I think it's one of those things where you would find your groove quite easily, and you could quite happily set up a station. I've just got myself a serving tray, like a breakfast serving tray, and it hasn't arrived yet, but I'm waiting on that delivery, and I'm hoping it's going to help with some crafting things that I'd like to be able to do while watching TV that aren't really practical because I don't have a table space to use for that. So I'm thinking this could potentially be something that I could do using that little serving table, because I'm thinking it will be a big enough space where I could potentially tear my pieces of paper. I could do the inking, and I could possibly stick them all down while I'm sitting there watching TV. I'm hoping. I'll get back to you on that and let you know if it works the way I hope it does. Okay, I think I'm going to go tea stain paper first. See, that odd number thing has just popped into my head and I'm like, do I have enough? Will it work? Is it going to look funny because I've only got 4 pieces of pattern paper? So I'm thinking, so potentially I'm only going to need 3. So 1, 2, 3. I like that. Okay. So my two outside edge ones I can put down quite easily, as in know where to put them. I do keep strips of paper quite often, and I have a few things that I do with them. So for instance, this tea stain paper, you saw me making the snippet strips just recently in a previous video. If you haven't seen that, I will try and link that video in the description below for you. So I used the tea stain paper strips as my base to make those. And I'm just trying to think what else I use them for, but I do have a few different things. I do make snippet strips using the decorative papers as well. I also use them to make paper ruffles. And I usually just sew those with the sewing machine. They're lots of fun. What else have I done? I'm finding more and more that these little strips are super handy. Okay, so oops. Again, this wouldn't be as fiddly if you just did them alternatively, but I prefer to have, oh, that's a little bit bumpy there. A bit of glue there, I think. Oops. I got a sewing string. Just a bit too much glue on that particular part. Just kind of scraping it away with my nail as best I can. I think that's a bit better. So yes, I'm terrible. I actually keep the smallest of paper scraps now because I'm finding more and more ways to use my scraps up. So I find even the tiniest little scrap is coming in really handy. I'm just kind of centering this one between the two on either side. And I can use the text there to try and determine whether I'm relatively straight. Just pressing out that glue. Okay. I think because these have got the same or similar pattern on them, I think I'd like to separate those and have that piece in the center. Okay. And that piece of paper is only just wide enough and it's almost not reaching down the bottom, but I'm going to pretend it's okay. Kind kind of using it like a gap filler. And I think it's actually gone down not too bad, so phew. And that's probably because I measured the gap there using a different piece of paper when I first put the tea stain paper down. So note to self, if your paper strips are different sizes, make sure you're sure of the placement before you start gluing. Doesn't matter. It worked out. So on this one, when you're writing, you could turn the card sideways and write across the card like that, or you could write your text vertically, which is a really fun way to journal and add a little bit of interest, a little bit of detail that just makes it fun. Just want to scooch that over a fraction. So because I've used scraps, my separations aren't exactly the same. If you tear from the one sheet, or maybe you want to use two sheets and alternate them depending on how big your journaling card is, so many different ideas to play with, and you could potentially end up with a much more even separation between the plain and the decorative papers than I have. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. I was going to say I could stitch it as well, but that kind of takes away some of that journaling space, so I don't think I will. I am going to ink it. Okay, and so this next one, slightly smaller scraps are okay, because I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to do them horizontally rather than vertically on the back. Oops. So I'm just thinking I'm probably getting very close to time. I'm going to keep playing with these. I'm going to do this one horizontally, and I've had another idea, so I might keep playing and I will pop back and show you before I finish off this video. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I've decided to turn the camera back on. I have been busy tearing and inking. I've got all of my strips done, and I'm actually using a piece of the larger scrap paper that I had left that had the little butterfly or half a butterfly image on it. And I have just torn strips and kept them in order. So you can see I've placed two already, and the pattern of the shape of the butterfly continues on the separate pieces of paper, even though it has that piece of tea stain paper in between. So I'm just gluing down these. I thought you might like to pop in and see it come together. And as you see, instead of doing the tea stain paper underneath this time, I'm alternating. So I've only inked the top of each piece of paper, And my next piece of paper goes just over the bottom. Yes, it goes just over the bottom of the last piece of paper, which essentially gives me all of the separate edges inked. Where did my paper towel go? My fingers are really tacky. You can see this piece here is a little bit uneven across the bottom edge, but because I'm covering the bottom edge on each piece, it doesn't really matter so much. Gosh, that's fun. I love that you can write in between, so you can still see the pattern of the butterfly, but you'll have the text of whatever the owner puts on the tea stain paper in between that image. Super fun. Oops. So I do just need to tidy up the edge. And I need to add some ink on the front and the back, I think. Just going to burnish that down. Being careful not to press too hard, because obviously I'm pressing in a different direction to the paper on this side. So I love that. I love that they're quite different on the back and the front. Okay, I'm off to have some more fun with this idea, and I will pop back and show you when I'm done. See you soon. Okay, I'm back again. I finished playing. I've ended up making 10 journaling cards and I love them. They're all quite different from each other. Some I've used a similar idea. So this idea here with the border around the outside I've used a couple of times on a couple of different cards. But I've changed it up by doing something different on the back or something like that. So I'm going to show you through them, hoping that I'm focused okay. So that's the first one. I think the first couple we did on camera together. The second one, I'm not really sure of the order of them. I love that. I love that we've used the image, but we've separated them and there's room to journal in between. So fun. I could have played for days. So we have a little bit of journaling space in between. And my idea with these is that they will be really fabulous layering journaling cards. So if you have a pocket where you have more than one piece of ephemera in that pocket, I think they would be fabulous to have at the back of that layered ephemera. that's kind of my idea with them. So for me, I feel like I can't have too many in my stash. I love that. So fun. Every time I thought I was finished making some journaling cards, I had another idea. So like this, for instance, I was like, oh, we could just do little corner tabs. So who knows if I'll come up with more ideas in the future. It was lots of fun to play with, and I love geometric shapes, and it kind of took me to that place. So in all of these pieces, I've kind of used straight edges, but again, you could use torn pieces and get a completely different look, but similar. So I really love that idea. Before I do that, I wanted to show you, out of all the papers that we've used, these are the only scraps that I have at the moment, as far as I know, from this mass making ephemera project. And I really love the fact that we're utilising all of our scraps as well as our larger pieces of paper. Okay, so there we can see all of our journaling cards together, and I love that they're a little bit same but a little bit different. The different size papers and the different patterns make the journaling cards that are the same, for instance these two, even look different from each other. So I really love that. I'm thinking I'm going to call this video my Scrap Buster video, because it was a fun and fabulous way to use up scraps, and like I said, I could have gone for days and days. So I'll turn them over and I'll show you the backs. Okay, so there is the opposite side of the journaling cards. I think I've turned them all over. I really love the way they look. This whole concept just really excited me, and I've had lots and lots of fun with it, and I will definitely be doing some more in the future using this ideas. So I wanted to say a huge thank you to Steph from JunkWithSteph for allowing me to showcase your beautiful digitals. I'm having so much fun creating ephemera for my ephemera stash. Also a huge thank you and shout out to Gayle Agostinelli for the inspiration, and to Carol who made her Montana journal. I've really had fun with this concept, and I'm looking forward to playing with it some more in the future. Please, if you've liked this video, like the video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification and select all so that you don't miss future videos, and always feel free to comment. I love to hear from you. If you can think of any patterns or concepts that I've overlooked, if you've had your own idea, light bulb moment, that's how it felt for me, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, because like I said, I just feel like the possibilities were endless and I was just touching the surface. So please everybody, stay safe, stay inspired, and happy crafting. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.